I
Hey
hope what I'm
guys,
saying.
sorry about that. Sorry about us being offline there temporarily. Is my mic misbehaving? Okay, but we're back to have our great combo. Every crisis averted. Where were we? I believe we were solving all the world's problems.
Yeah, well, that's easy now. Now that you know, right? Now that you know,
now that I know what exactly.
well, now that you know what everybody wants, before it didn't matter what everybody wanted. It wanted whoever's in power wanted. He would, whoever had the physical authority over people was who ruled, or it was internal with the people. So now all of a sudden, oh, communication. We were talking about what is the limits, like 150 people before.
I just don't believe that.
Well,
I don't believe in the Dunbar number that is some like magical limiting number, but I understand that there's limits.
Yeah, there's a limit. Yeah, and that's it. It doesn't. This is what I want to get away from. Well, I don't like that. Well, whatever. The idea is there. There's a limited number of people that you can come in contact with. I mean, it's just like anything. What if there were a billion people? Can you be friends with all of them? No, of course not. Okay, how about 900,000? No, of course not. So what's the number? Whatever it is, roughly that number. Okay, well that's as big a group as you want any one person to have a decent relationship, a friendly relationship with, a trusting relationship. Any more than that, and it's a matter of splitting up your attention and how much can you trust someone that you've only spent 10 minutes with in your whole life? You don't know. So anyway, now we're in this position where 8 billion people potentially, mostly cheaply, have the capability to talk to each other. What are they going to talk about, and what should be talked about? And well, what do you know? Everybody disagrees on stuff. Surprise, surprise, right? Mostly cheaply. So we went from a model of communication was so expensive and the latency was so high that it took a lot of money just to communicate at all. It took months of time if you had to send a boat across the ocean. Well, all that's free now. It's free in time. So it's instantaneous. There's no time cost. And there's plenty of money around. Enough people can do it. It's as big as it needs to get the same stuff done. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's good enough to get what you want done. So do you want to know if your citizens are happy or not? Because you can find out now, and you can track it in a map, so you can see who's happy, who's not about any given question. So why don't they do that? Why wouldn't they do that? There's no good reason, and now it's easy. I got the guy who's writing the software. It's it's a matter of someone sitting down there for a few hours and typing. That's what it costs right now. So set up an app and a little server that collects the information, and people will be glad to give it to you. It's all what it costs. I think we can get the whole thing done in a garage. Someone's got a server. It wouldn't cost anything at all, and you'd have instantaneous information over anything that we asked. So what do we ask? What are the questions? What would you ask if you really want to know the answer? What would you ask? How about you?
Greetings.
Hey, welcome to the show, Rook. Great to have you back. Always a pleasure. Why don't you field this question, because I kind of feel like a broken record at this point with the whole questions thing.
Take it? Yeah. Well, everyone wants what they want. So what do the people that are in charge want? Because they're the ones that are supposed to respond. They're supposed to know the questions. And if you have angry people, well, you haven't answered those people. So take care of those people at least. Figure out why they're mad. You got red pixels, find out why they're red. Whose fault is it? Why is that like that? Why has it been like that for years when people have said they wanted it different? Who's at fault? Who's in charge here? So it's obviously not the people angry. So why aren't their demands met? Are they not working hard enough? Or
how do you know it's not the angry people in charge?
How do we know?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, well, you don't know, right? I mean, there's not feedback right now other than elections and money. Those are your two big feedback mechanisms. So whoever's in charge is there because they are able to maintain a trusted relationship with people who give them power. So whether that's the people or other money, or there's some balance met where they aren't run out of office, they're still there. The latency between action and completion, or how do they maintain the delay between what they say they can do and what they do? How do they maintain that latency, and how do they maintain credibility? How long can they do that? And I think that's the answer is not anymore. I think most people feel that way, wherever you are on the spectrum. So if you're a politician, how do you save your job? And I guess the most effective way is what they think, and this is what I don't get, is they try to make the other side angry enough to vote. So you go with a negative, you scare people, and that works. It always does, right? If you threaten someone's livelihood or their life, scare them to death, they'll do something. And if you say you got a solution, well, they'll vote for you as long as the other guy doesn't sound better. So yeah, that's one way, and that's normal, and that's or I talk about game A and game B. Game A is the negative force wins, the bomb, the nuclear bomb, the biggest thing that scares you, that'll get you to do the most. So once people,
But that isn't true. That isn't strictly true, is it?
well, no, that's it. Well, they don't believe that anymore because they haven't used them since World War II, and most people there are dead anyway. So you have the loss of fear of nuclear bombs because they haven't been used in anybody's lifetime that at least you see for most of cultural consciousness, nobody worries about nukes anymore. Kim Jong-un put up a stink there, but then that went and it was something else. So you forget all about it. There's not a threat of nuclear holocaust. Now it's, well, the flu or whatnot. Everyone's worried about different things, but the most lethal thing on earth is that. So whatever effect you think it doesn't have much culturally. At least I don't see any. So you don't see that in the headlines anyway. So what do you do with that? So people ignore that threat, and that's fine, and it's good that you can't live worrying about that all day. So you have to shut these things out of your mind, or you wouldn't enjoy your life if that's all you worried about 24/7.
It's kind of sounding like a stream of consciousness. I can't quite get a hook on it here.
Yeah, well, that's sort of what it is. I apologize. You're jumping in. I get this. Are you familiar with my work there, the physics?
The physics?
Well, that's the name of it. And the way you said that, it sounds like you aren't. Let me send you a link if you don't mind. Let me send you a link so you can.
I got a better idea. How about a quick rundown, just like a tiny encapsulated sum up of whatever the fuck you're talking about.
Can you see that link I just sent you?
Let's see.
I want you to get on the same page as I said. Then you know what I'm talking about. It's sapient speak. It's just a new system of communication I came up with that entails your frame of reality, whatever it is, your frame of perception. So that includes whatever you consider to be reality will fit in this box. You get black and white, grayscale, and then you get the spectrum for the worst thing in that reality and the best thing in that reality. Whatever.
So basically, we're putting things in a box.
Yep. So it's 2D reality is what it is. Takes 4D and puts it down to 2. Then you imagine the other ones. You'll imagine them naturally because you see a head and a body.
It sounds kind of flat.
Well, it has to be. If you want to extract useful information, it can't be too complex. If it's too complex, the extraction is complex. So in this format, you have a color.
Brain cells. What?
What's that?
What'd you say?
No, I was saying in this way, you can have a computer track quality this way. So for example, if I ask you, are you happy about this? Well, you can just put a mark on purple. Yeah, I'm really happy. Or I'm so, that's blue.
So
green.
we're ticking happy boxes.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It's intuitive. You got the red.
Why would anybody do this? Or
Yeah, well, that's what
what's the
we're
reason
talking.
here?
Well, that's what we're talking about, because right now you have the ability to poll any question in the world and get an instant answer on how people feel about that. So you could have a map of the world with pixels according to what people voted. So what would you ask for a question? If you want to know the answer of how people are feeling about something, well, the tech is there. I'm working with a guy to get it finished up. The potential tech is there. Just record it as a color. So quality is a color. Instead of just getting a number of how many people want this, X. Okay, how many people want this? Okay, Y. So you get two numbers. You have quantity, but you don't have quality. This allows you to add the layer of quality into any information. So you get, well, 50% of people were happy and 50% of people were not happy. Or you get something in between. You'll get a scatter plot, and some things will just be average for everybody.
What the hell good is it? What is the reason behind all this?
Well, it's feedback for politics, live feedback. So it's above politics here. It's just an app. You click on a color, or we ask you a question, you click on it. Like it or not, it's all voluntary.
So to be utilized by politicians, that's really going to be enticing to people, isn't it?
Well, they already do that to you anyway, right? Every click you make on the web, they're doing that. This way you have some feedback and say, no, I don't like it. It's a self-defense weapon online. They're already using this on you. It's just I kind of hacked that.
Well, how accurate is it? Because it's self-reporting, like anything,
Yeah,
self-reporting.
but you can't know if they're lying anyway, right? So if I tell you green is no impact, blue means you like it, purple means you really like it, yellow means not really, a little bit worried, and red means you hate it. If I told you that, well,
And yada yada.
Yeah, so this is the complex one. You have a simple one where it's just red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, just those ones. And that would simplify it for that. If you wanted to have a rough, granular idea, that'd work better, easier anyway, for the people to just decide what color. But this one allows.
Who's going to want this? Who's going to want it? Who's going to utilize it, and for what purpose?
Listen to this. So if you mark these, take these colors.
Start out with who? Who's going to utilize it?
Well, every company in the world would, because
for what purpose?
Well, listen. Let me explain how you work it. Okay. Now I wish I could. Can I share my screen? I think I got that figured out where I can share it.
Top right, 3 dots.
All right, I got it.
Share screen, and you just want to share the application window, not the computer desktop.
Yep, got it.
Remember that bit.
So do you see this now? With a circle and a square, do you see me moving it?
I do.
All right, good.
But you've got your Hangouts window screen sharing the Hangout link, so don't do that.
How do I do that again?
You've got the Hangouts link in the same instance of the browser. So if you switch over to the Hangouts video call, you're going to be screen sharing the Hangouts link.
I'm such a rookie here, man.
You want to make whatever you're displaying on the internet not have any personal information, and that includes the Hangouts link.
Okay, now stop sharing that. Then how do I share a single tab? Or do I take it as a second window? That'll work?
Yeah, you just,
Okay, that's it. All right.
You gotta cut the cord. I keep having to harp on this. It just seems like the eternal error.
Yes, I see that. Okay, how's that?
That looks all right. Go ahead.
Okay, so what we got here is, call it sapient speak. So it represents your entire experience. So it's the graphical user interface to reality. Whatever you choose, whatever your reality is. Okay, and accounts for whatever you believe, it's included in here. So for example, we take a poll, we say, okay, how many people want windmills over there? And then you ask them the question, if you will be affected physically, if you're going to see the windmills, if you're going to hear the mills, if they're anywhere in your experience day to day, put your vote in the black, the square in the black. Okay, so I'm going to see them. If you like them, towards the purple. Excuse me. If you don't like them, towards the red. And the more red, the more you hate them, okay? So yeah, I'm going to see those windmills every day, and I love windmills. I think that's great. They're saving the planet. Okay, so that would be I'm seeing them every day and I love them. Okay, now that's the physical experience. Okay, mental experience. Are you happy about that? Well, in this case, yeah. And then you say, are you happy for yourself or for everyone? How intense is this happiness? Is it super? Jennifer, this is what I was talking about. The orthogonal part is how intensely happy are you? Well, I'm happy for everyone. I'm going to save everyone with this. Okay, so that's what that is. That vote would mean I'm affected physically. I'm sorry, let me take this back. Physically, you see them, but that's it. That doesn't affect your body other than visually. So that would be green. So it doesn't hurt you in any way. It's just it's there, and you're really happy about it because you love seeing windmills. Okay, that's what that means. So then you go to the other guy and say, are you physically affected? No, I don't live anywhere near the windmills. I'll never see them in the rest of my life. Okay, so put your square in the yellow. You are not affected physically. Do you like them or not? I love them. I'm saving the planet. Okay, so you got 2 votes. One is black. One is black and loves it. One is white and loves it. Then you got another guy that says, I hate them. They're near my house and they're noisy. I hate them. I don't ever want to see them. So you got this guy. He's all mad. He's living there. So now you got a yes, and you have 2 people with experience, and they have differing opinions. Well, what about the 4th one? Let me do it this way.
I don't know. Let's stop at 4 and cut to the chase.
Well, the point is, how many people up in the white that love something that they're never going to see in their whole wide life, in their ever? How many votes? What if there are 20 people that'll never see the windmill and they love it, and the only 4 people that live near the windmill hate it? The only people that are going to see that in their whole life, they hate it. And the noise, they can't sleep, okay? How many of these white votes that have no physical experience with the repercussions of their actions outweigh the people who are affected personally and physically, potentially poorly? Where is the mob
You got to
rule?
give me a reason to care before I'm going to wonder.
Well, that's it. Okay, yeah. So we're not windmills. What's something that you would vote on? What if they decided, you know, we're gonna put a new street in, and we're gonna cut off this one, so whatever, something that affects you personally there. How should votes be weighed? So instead of getting a yes, I love it, or no, I don't, that's a binary vote, yes or no. Okay, well, here you have yes and no is included. You have black and white. Yes would be the circle. Yes, I love it, or no, I don't. You have, are they physically affected? You add the dimension of the quality of that person's vote. How much is a vote worth that has no experience with the phenomenon? Not as much. So anyway, that's a broad question, but a good one would be, how happy are you with your roads? And then you have the people that, then you get a color, you get a quality of roads. You don't get a vote of should we buy more roads? No, you get the quality of the roads are there. If people are good with the roads, we'll spend the money in the places where they aren't. It's just a matter of allocation of resources. You have a qualitative measure instead of whoever.
So whoever bitches the most gets the most resources. And you don't see a problem with that.
Well, who else should decide, right?
The people who bitch the most should be categorically judged as being a bitch.
Well, okay, but what if their complaints are valid?
There's really no such thing, frankly.
Okay, well, tell a politician that one. There's no valid. And you're right. That's what it appears to be that way, right? So maybe you're right.
Oh,
so
it's a little more than maybe.
Yeah. Well, I agree there. So this is a way to it's a biofeedback for politics that didn't exist before. I mean, why wouldn't you do this? Do you want to just use, every 4 years we'll punch a piece of paper? Is that what do you think about that for the next 1,000 years? That's silly.
I think that the squeaky wheel getting the grease approach is a fallacy.
Well, okay, then you don't believe in voting as a means of changing power.
Because
And-
it's incentivizing complaining.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my
yeah,
God, I complained about something and something got done. I guess I should complain all the time. It's the
Yeah.
reason why people are fucked up from schools, because they don't get attention from their parents, don't get attention from a teacher. Only way they can get attention is by misbehaving. Only way to get attention through your thing is misbehaving, so there's got to be some bottleneck in there, man.
I don't understand the bottleneck.
Yeah,
is,
you just see somebody taking an app with this on there, and they're in a bad mood, so they spend the whole day just bitching.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if someone's going to abuse it, this is all voluntary stuff. Whatever you have, people are going to abuse. That's what they do, right? So if they're going to abuse it, well, maybe they don't vote next time. You know, there'll be a punishment of it.
Yeah,
Make a
what's
little
the
bitch
punishment?
about voting.
If that's
Yeah,
just, if it-
then that means there's a right way and a wrong way to vote. And if you don't think that'll be abused instantly, then you're just not that very well versed in human nature.
well, yeah, but the normal vote is already abused as it is, right? I mean, whoever you ask, they've got a reason it's abused as is, right? Either not enough people can vote, or it's too hard to vote, or it's too easy to vote. Whatever you pick, yeah, there's already every problem you have, yeah, that already exists. This is just a different solution. Yeah, I mean, it's not even going to solve everything anyway. It's just a new way to qualify data.
How is
if
it a
you-
solution to voting problems? How is it addressing voting problems?
It's adding to the solution. It's qualifying.
That's the problem, maybe.
Well, what do you suggest? Do you believe that that all votes are the same? Is that
You don't want to
is there any
accidentally,
qualifying?
you don't want to do a clear call, which is, well, what's your solution?
Well,
You
that's
don't want to
but
jump
that's
to that.
well, I'm presenting a new solution, and I want
It
to
comes
find a better.
across as trying to shoehorn in your axioms. You've got to demonstrate why we should give a shit about your axioms. So right off the hop, the democracy angle is probably not going to fly with this crowd.
Yeah, no, that's my question is, we have what we have, which is democracy, some sort of that in the West anyway. Okay, well, this is a way to make democracy more granular. You have the quality of vote. How much do you like it? Yeah, I love it. It's everything you have plus a quality.
And do people get to vote on democracy? And what happens if everyone hates democracy?
Yeah, well, that's sort of just chaos. So that's what we
No.
got.
Well, yeah, if you do the thing, and then what happens if everyone votes on democracy and they all hate it? What happens then?
Depends on what they vote for, right? Is it a write-in?
That's what they're voting for. They're voting and saying, I don't want to vote. I want to just get told, yo. I don't want to be any part of it, because they don't want to bear any, they don't want to have to face the regret of being responsible. Ahem.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Excuse me. Can I talk on my own show here without being interrupted? People don't want to bear the consequences. That's why the system you're describing would end up getting used because people thought they could hack it for social prestige. So the self-reporting would be extremely inaccurate.
Okay. Sorry, I gotta go 1 second. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually supporting this tool now, because as long as we can ask people what they think about democracy, and if everyone hates it, well, hey guys, that's what's called beating someone in their own axioms, you know? Anybody? Hello? You there, Ro?
Is anybody there?
All right, I'm back. I got about 10 minutes here. So anyway, a business. Let me just tell you what it would the commercial use of this is, because like I said, Jen, this is the problem is it doesn't matter what I say because everyone's got their own solutions. So when you come with a new solution they don't want or whatever, you're right. Nobody's going to use it unless they see a benefit. And
People use my solutions all the time.
if they provide them benefit, yeah. If they didn't, they wouldn't. Why would they? It'd be
Well,
stupid.
there's probably a period where there's no benefit.
Right. So that's it. So right now I'm in this position where the benefit isn't seen necessarily by people. But anyway, this is the benefit. For example, a company has an employee and they ask them, every couple of weeks, so just touch a color if you like your job, move the square to where.
Yeah, and just think this is what I'm thinking about. Like the guy says he's unhappy and then he gets called up and he's got to go talk to the company psychiatrist who's some like total freak, right? And so he's like, I better not report I'm unhappy ever again because I never want to go back to see the total freak. You get my drift? You understand how what you're describing, like every iteration of what you're describing is basically creepily totalitarian and the direction of like not the direction we want to be going in.
Okay, but you're carrying that out to an infinite end here. Let's take it.
You have to carry. That's what you have to do to test theories. You got to carry them out to their inevitable conclusions. I mean, that's how you test every type of software, basically, that there is.
Right, but this is how you do this one because it's the human interface. It's not just software. It's the human interface. So, for example, you go to this guy and you say, okay, this guy, he's a programmer. And you ask the programmer, and it's just a little click on his either an app or on his screen somewhere. Just ask you, are you comfortable? Is your chair okay? Ergonomics, is everything cool? Because we want to make sure you're happy. Yes, I am. I'm happy. Okay, so he's green. You know what? You got me a new chair.
That's fucking dumb because a chair doesn't make someone happy.
No, we're asking
to be made happy by a chair is like a slug.
Okay, watch this. So no, you know what? My back is killing me. I'm physically uncomfortable. Now, if it's just you and it's just that's it. But what if, you know what? Every once in a while, I'm complaining to people. Now you're going up here, which means you're affecting other people with your discomfort. You're telling people. So does your back hurt from your chair? Yeah, it hurts a lot. I'm not telling anybody, but it's hurting. But I love my job. Okay, that's what that means. My back hurts, but I love my job. And then so whoever's managing this will get a red pixel over here and say, oh, what's the complaint? Oh, his back hurts. Okay, so we get him he's doing a good job over here. So let's get him a new chair. Okay, yeah, I love my new chair. The first week he loves it. He kind of settles back, gets used to it. 3 weeks in, he's back and he's normal. He's used to his new chair. He's comfortable.
Aiken wants to know why not just ask for a chair?
Yeah, well, that's what he's doing. I mean, he would have done that anyway, right? This just shows, so in the company logs, what you'll see is, red. Oh, for this guy, he got a new chair. Okay, now he's happy. And they'll see the swing, the comfort swing from red, my back hurts, to, oh, yay, I'm happy. I got a brand new chair. And that wears off. After a week or so, he's back to normal because, he doesn't appreciate the new chair anymore because it's just normal now. So he's back to green. So you'll see the swing. You'll see red. Okay, we spent $200 to swing him up to purple. And then, yeah, that's normal. We expect that. Now he's back to green. Okay, good. But if you saw this swing, so these are the Q slopes, the quality slopes. If a company sees this swing, we just bought him a new chair. Okay, so we're in the future. Okay, bought him a new chair. Yeah, happy. And he gets average. Okay, he's fine. Now the company sees, wait a minute, he's drifting in. What do you say? Oh, he needs a new mouse. Okay, give him a new mouse. Yeah, you get a new mouse. You see what I mean? So this oscillation of color, just ergonomics, that's all. And this guy will appreciate that system because he loves his job. He just wants to have the right tools. So he's physically comfortable. They spent a few $100 getting him there because he wasn't at first, didn't like his chair. Yay. Oh, I don't like my mouse. Oh, okay, now I'm happy. So physically, he's comfortable. That's all you're worried about, ergonomics. And he loves his job. How long will that guy stay there? As long as you keep him happy, it looks like he does a good job. So what about this guy? Well, that's your good worker. He's physically comfortable, loves his job. Here's your squeaky wheel. Okay, now, does he love his job? Not really. Take it or leave it. Sometimes I
So
have a bad
you
day.
give them the ultimate in chairs. If they complain too much, you give them the ultimate chair.
Okay, so
I
let's
put it
spend.
on the screen right now. It's
Let's-
a forward-facing massage chair.
even okay, but wait a second. So there you go. Should we give him a new chair? He's not doing great, but he says he doesn't. If he doesn't love his chair, I mean, if he doesn't care about his chair, that's not the problem. Give him a new chair. It's not even going to budge that. Even that one that you say, oh well, yeah, I like that. So you spend that money for that chair, but he's still not happy with his job. It's not the chair. You're wasting money here. Get him a new job, or fire him. If he's down in here, well, that's when you get fired. Doesn't matter how comfortable you are in your chair. The guy's bad.
So people just lie and say they're happy to not get fired. So your metrics will be wonderful. Your society will be terrorized into saying they're happy to not get fired from their job. What a
Okay,
wonderful, relaxed society that sounds like.
well, if he's just faking it, why are you still there? You know? And if
Because
there was-
people need money.
okay, then what don't you like about your job? I mean,
Well,
you're-
there's a bit of a problem there with the assumption that people should like their jobs.
okay, yeah. Well, what I'm saying, you have all the same problems you have today. They're not going away. This is a way to address it. So what I'm saying, on a business way note, if this guy hates his job, but you spent the money on the nice chair, okay, what's the Q slope of this guy? The Q slope is body green, head yellow. This guy is body green. You want the body green, you know, give them something nice. They'll like it for a little while, but they'll go back to normal once they get used to it. So you want the body always wants to be green, and the head you always want up here because they love their job. If they hate it, well, find out why. You know, is he in the wrong position? He's comfortable, but he's just not right for the job. This guy over here. So what's wrong? Why did you hire him? If he doesn't like his job and he's not good at it, why did you hire him? Get rid of him or change his job. You see
Wait,
what I
all
mean?
this started over a chair.
Well, whatever it is, you know, is it chairs, the mouse? Okay,
Hey,
my dog.
Dad, how'd you become homeless? Well, son, one day I had a prick in my back from a chair, and the rest is history. I wasn't happy enough to participate in the economy, and that's why we live in a van by the river.
Without my squeaky chair.
So anyways, so that's it. You can calculate the Q slopes of your employees. So how about this? I'm comfortable physically, but I don't like the way that guy is looking at me. You know, here's your HR lawsuits.
Oh, awesome. People
You
who
get it.
don't like being looked at. Sounds like
Yeah.
a very fun work environment where you have to worry about giving people dirty looks because then you're going to be right next to the original guy who didn't like his chair out living on the street.
But remember, every problem that you can think of already exists. So this isn't anything, this is taking real world examples and saying, okay, well, why don't you? And then here's where it gets tricky. There'll be a log that says, I don't like the way the guy is looking at me. Okay, we're gonna log that. Yellow, you said, don't like how he looks. Okay, that's fine. You can feel that. People feel that all the time, right? So is it valid? Well, no. Come to think of it, the guy was looking at the girl behind her, right? Oh, okay. Then let me retract that. You see what I mean? It places that. Why are you feeling like that? Is it real? Well, if you're super sensitive, well, then you need to talking to. If it's legitimate, if it's something creepy, something serious going on, well, you need to know about that anyway. Take care of that. Then you don't have an HR lawsuit on your hands in 6 months. Because you heard this little whiner, this complainer, you know, your worst case scenario is someone that just complains for the sake of it. But no, this one is legit. Take care of the problem. Don't get a lawsuit because a lawsuit's going to cost you $5 million. That guy was looking at her weird, okay? Take care of that problem. So you see your problems, whether they're real or not. So that whether it's real or not, she felt that. Okay, what if she was just a complainer? Well, give her a talking to. You know, how long are you going to say that? Because it's in your log that says you don't like how people look at you. Well, then why are you in the public? You need to find a place where you don't see anybody. You see what I mean? That culpability is logged, saying if you feel that way and it's an imaginary, illegitimate feeling, well, that's something that you got to figure out. It's not a legal issue. It's because you're uncomfortable with normal public situations. That's something else. You see what I mean? How that works? It's a double-edged sword there. So it allows a company to defend itself against these crazy lawsuits and also anticipate the real ones. Either way, you got to figure that stuff out. So you, like right here, I don't like the way he looks at me. Oh, he was a creepy guy. Yeah, you know what? I looked into him. We fired him. Okay, good. You know what? I really did like my job. I just didn't like that creepy guy. So you have this Q slope of, if someone complains about a creepy guy and you get rid of them, you go from a yellowhead to purple. They're happy again. I love my job. So then you get two people happy instead of this person, which would have been a good worker, except they don't like that creepy guy. You took care of the problem. So you solve yourself a lawsuit. You get two good workers, and all that for nothing. It's free. Just 10% of the gain that you get. So how much would that lawsuit have been? Oh, 10 million? Well, just give me one. That's all. Easy. Do you see the commercial value there now? I'm sorry, I didn't get the name.
Brooke.
Brooke?
Yeah, and no, I don't.
You don't see the commercial value in anticipating HR lawsuits and having substantiated.
Quite frankly,
real-time
it seems like a confusing clusterfuck to me right
well,
now.
yeah, well, the computer takes care of all
what
that.
you're doing.
Computer just compares the Q slopes, meaning what color shifts took place when, what did it take to solve each shift. So if it's a creepy guy, good thing you caught him now before there was a lawsuit. So you see that slope go from purple to yellow. Look into that. Whoa, she's a great worker. All of a sudden she's angry. Wait a minute, that's a bad Q slope to go from purple to yellow. What happened? Oh, that creepy guy. We'll get rid of him. Okay, now she's back. So you see a Q slope go from purple to yellow to purple, meaning she changed her mind. How did that happen? Well, you fired the creepy guy. Okay, that was money.
You know, Aiken Drum's got a question for you. He's wondering if you're familiar with employment law.
No, I'm not other than what's intuitive. What do you mean? This has nothing to do with the law. It's just a matter of voluntary. Do you want to participate in this or not? And if they want to participate, well, this is what it does. If you don't, well, don't do it. It's 100% optional. It's nothing imposed on anyone. But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, as an employee, wouldn't you want to be able to have feedback? And then if you're a complainer, well, that's your own problem. Maybe it'll help you solve your own problem.
Why would an employee want to partake in something that was trying to guarantee minimum exposure to litigation?
Higher wages. Imagine if a company didn't have to, if their legal bills were cut in half. Some big company, what if they were cut in half? What if they were eliminated for HR? I mean, if you see all of a sudden at this point any kind of discomfort socially, it's either a problem with your environment that you have bad people in there, or you have a person who's not comfortable in social situations. And if they're not comfortable, well, don't put them there. Either put them in a different job or they need to find another job, one or the other. So it discovers the problem, whether it's the person or the company, one or the other. And usually those are obvious, but a lot of times they aren't. So you end up going to court over something that should be obvious, right? I mean, tell me where I'm wrong. I don't think I've said anything that anybody can argue with. I mean, not substantially anyway, but I'm open. So do you see the value now, Rook, or do you see that value? Do you see, there's no imposed cost. It's a voluntary cost of clicking a button. Purple, oh no, I'm comfortable. Click yellow, and then type in a thing. That guy, whatever. All those things exist right now in the form of HR departments. Now it's just a click instead of I got to go see the HR lady, whatever it is. It's every existing problem, every existing solution, plus just a little bit of color. You get qualitative data instead of just quantitative. That a computer can qualify, not just a human. So what that entails is now you can record quality. So you see slopes that you see common slopes. For example, how often does that happen? I love my job, but we'll find out what the but is. Okay, no, I love my job again. How many times do you see purple to yellow or purple to red? and what did it take to solve those problems? Because you want happy workers. So they keep working for you, right? So it harnesses the capitalism, in that capitalism, it has to keep their people happy or they're not going to work for them, or you create a market where they have no choice, one or the other. So either way, here's the colors. If they have no choice, well, they're not going to be happy in their job anyway. Well, how long are they going to be there? Well, if they have no choice, could be years, could be decades, right? Are they doing a good job if they're not happy? Probably not. But if it's a capitalistic market, if you have people that are happy, what are the odds of if this is the person's output say this is their output, the square is the output for the company, and their circle is what they think about their work. So this would be optimal work for the company. This would be optimal damage or the worst damage for the company. So you always want someone here. If they're only average, well, they better be a good friend. They start going into the negative, well, you fire that one. Why would you keep them on? That'd be stupid. So you want
I don't know. We went from windmills to politicians to chairs to happiness level.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're measuring. You pick what you want to measure, and this will measure it. So right now we're measuring output. Okay, we want them right there. That's perfect. And we want the person, ideally, they're happy as a clam. That's perfect. That's a perfect employee.
Well, my biggest problem with this measurement device is people could have varying reasons for putting in data that may or may not be accurate.
Right. Yeah. But that problem already exists, right? So this is just a new way.
Well, just saying that it already exists. What is that? How does that answer the problem here?
Well, I'm showing you because you end up with Q slopes. You have slopes that you can calculate. So whatever problem you have, well, now you have a slope that tells you whether that problem is.
Yeah, and everyone's going to lie that they're happy all the time.
Okay, well, let's look at that.
And you're going to end up with a situation of the most sadistic freaks in charge.
All the problems that you imagine already exist. So you're right. This is what an employer wants, right?
Maybe we should be working on the present problem then instead of one that reinforces it. Just saying.
Okay, let me just show you. This is the perfect employee right here. They are happy doing all the work, and they're just happy as clams working for the company. And there are people like that. Sometimes they got just the right balance.
No, there aren't. There really aren't people like that.
Okay, I live in rural Maine.
They're a statistical anomaly that's irrelevant on the grand scheme of things due to their incredibly small numbers.
Right, but they exist. So if they exist,
So what? It changes nothing.
No, okay, but listen, that's what you want. I'm just saying that's your target. You want.
Why is that what you want? You would want someone that lackadaisical that they would just probably not be very loyal.
Well, let me tell you, there's a guy down the road. He makes canoes, most beautiful. They cost like $10,000. They're all handmade. He's just an artist. Okay, you're right. They're anomalous, but he loves his job. He's an artist. He just loves doing it. He makes the best canoes you'll ever find, and they're expensive. So he's right here. He loves his job. He does excellent work. That's a perfect employee. He works for himself, but that's what you want ideally, right? Someone that does it as well as you. Okay, so all that is that
you want to be a guy selling canoes for $10,000 each?
He wants to. He's happy. So I'm just saying that's your idea.
I don't think it has anything to do with an ideal, does it?
Well, I'm just saying if I had a company, I would want someone that loved their job. So that's what I want. Not what now. What I get is this.
It's only possible to love your job, quote unquote, when you're self-employed, I think.
Okay, but this is just our theoretical perfection. How about that?
Well, if I can come up with real world examples that contradict your theoretical gibberish, then it's a little bit frustrating because I can't follow your train of thought.
No, okay. That's not the real world. That's your definition of perfection. So your real world.
My definition of perfection is making a canoe for $10,000.
Well, that guy. I'm just saying that's
perfection. Is that guy making $10,000 off a canoe?
No. I'm saying that's your ideal situation, which you're never going to get unless you're a guy making canoes for $10,000. Okay, but normally, yeah. I'm just saying that's what you're aiming for as an employee.
So everyone is pretty much miserable in a job, and they should expect to be miserable in a job unless they're self-employed, $10,000 make your own canoe tier type people.
Well, that's what you ask someone. You say, okay, do you like your chair? Yeah, I'm comfortable. Do you like your job? Yeah, I love it. Okay. So that's
And
good
most
enough.
people will say, no, I don't love my job. It's fucking annoying as hell.
Okay, so they're over here.
So, but they're not going to be, because they're going to be afraid to lose their job. So they're going to lie and say that they like it.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to demonstrate. Okay, so this is
What are
someone
you
who,
demonstrating exactly? It just sounds tyrannical. It's like, you weren't happy enough on this day. Ha ha ha, your life is ruined. No.
now I'm showing you the way it works is that with the Q slopes. Okay, so the square is the output. Okay, this is good output for the company. This is bad output. You know, this is plus and negative. So plus, he does really good work, but he hates it. This is, he hates his job and he does really bad work. Well, that guy gets fired, so he's gone. So anybody in here, and this is where the employer draws a line. This is an excellent employee, because all the employer sees is the square, right? They only see your output. They don't care what's in your head. I mean, a good one does, but most of them, you know, as long as you show up and do a good job.
A good employer cares what's in your head.
Wow. I don't want to argue that. I'm just saying, everyone, it would be nice if everything
You
was
just
happy.
make an enormous amount of insane suppositions that just make me think you're extremely naive about human nature.
No, I'm not naive. This is how you illustrate human nature. So you have, I don't want to get.
How is this an illustration of human nature?
Okay. He does
I
good
just
work.
don't get it.
I'm just teaching you how the bar works. So the square is the output. This is good output for the company. This is bad output. Good output for the company, and he loves his job. Good output for the company, and he hates his job, but he's quiet about it. Okay, so what's that slope? So that negative slope, meaning I'm working for the company and I'm bending over backwards and I hate it. That's what that is. How long will that quality of work go there? Because your body seeks this. This is your natural state, relaxed, no pressure. But you're working like this. You're bending over backwards for the man. How long? Eventually, you'll see Q slopes of this. Well, ask him, how come you hate your job? Well, you know, my coworkers are jerks. Well, move them. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hey, these people are great. So all of a sudden, their head is there. That's not so hard anymore. If you hate your job, how long are you going to do it? Oh, yeah, these are cool guys. I like it. I'm having fun. You know, I love my job now. You see what I mean? You're approaching your perfect employee because of what you did. Oh, he hated it because of his friends or the people around him. Okay, we changed that. Now he loves it. So the computer will see a slope of red to purple. Why? And it'll be logged. We changed his environment. Oh, now he loves it. Great. Now he's going to work here another 10 years.
So you can calculate the surf factor of a person using this system?
Yes. Well, yeah.
How much they're willing to climb up on the old cross and sacrifice themselves for.
Well, they don't consider that. Well, they wouldn't consider that a sacrifice if they're in the blue zone. They like their job now. Here it's a sacrifice. Now it's, hey, I'm having fun.
But they're just lying to keep their job. I mean, you have no expectation of accurate self-reporting and every expectation of inaccurate self-reporting. So this would guarantee an office culture of like the most phoniest people you could ever imagine. And phoniness being incentivized.
Wait a second. He was in the negative. He complained, and then all of a sudden.
Doesn't matter because it's not an accurate measurement, and I can tell you specifically why it wouldn't be accurate. Because I understand human herd behavior.
Well, wait a second. Let me make this assumption. He was unhappy. You said you found out. Oh, those people are making fun of you. You don't like that. Well, let me move you over here with these people. Oh, I like these people. You see what I mean?
It doesn't work like that because people aren't going to accurately self-report because what people want is social status. So they're going to put whatever answer they think is going to increase their social status the most.
But he already gave a red answer. He said, I don't like the people I'm working with.
But he wouldn't give a red answer because that opens the door to potentially getting fired from your job. So he just always give a purple answer no matter what.
But they asked him, be honest. And he was honest and said the people.
Oh, really? They were like, be honest. And he was like, oh, sure, I'll be honest. Yeah, right.
And what happened was he complained and they moved him and now he's happy. So why would he not like that system? He went from unhappy.
Well, he's not happy necessarily. He's just stopped complaining because he realized that there was a consequence that he wanted to avoid.
Okay. So he clicked red first and then he clicked blue. Yeah, I'm much happier. It's not the best, but I'm a lot better. So his Q slope went from red to blue. Okay. Now, if you're worried about this, all the employer wants to make sure is this square stays here. So as an employer, you want people's, this is ideal. They wouldn't want to work anywhere else. But if their head's over here, you're not going to have them for long. If they're either going to quit, they're angry, they're not going to like that. So obviously, over time, you'll see this Q slope of purple output, red head. Nope, that's not going to last more than a couple of weeks, maybe a month.
I got you. It's like insurance against litigation. I got you.
Yeah. So now, and if he complained and you didn't do anything, well, now he's got a lawsuit. You know,
It's
like
going to cause the most hostile work environment you can ever imagine.
Well, it's self-correcting though. I mean, there's the social pressure. I guess that's the part that I think you're missing the concept of. Well, I didn't bring it up, but I mean, saying if this guy's complaining for no reason, well, it's logged. It says, I don't like people looking at me. Well, wait a second. People have to look at you all day. You don't want that? Well, get a new job where people don't look at you. You see what I mean? So if they're a complainer, it's logged.
Is there any way that complaining can have a good outcome?
Yeah, that guy was looking at me weird. Oh, yeah, that guy is a creep. We got rid of him. Okay, good. I'm happy.
So now it's an abstract judgment of who's creepy versus not?
Well, the person is the one that clicked the yellow button. The robot's just telling you, hey, they clicked the yellow button because of that guy looking at him. Now, if there's only two reasons she's uncomfortable, it's either because there's a problem with him or there's a problem with her. That's it.
So people would have to say I got fired from my last job for being creepy. And that's not an avenue for litigation?
Well, every problem you say already exists. Yeah, that happens all the time. I mean, that's normal, right? You get fired for, you get Me Too'd. That's normal to get Me Too'd.
You get fired for looking at somebody.
No, but I'm talking about the Me Too movement. That's what it was all about, was the intersex problems there in the office and careers, right? So yeah, what you're saying, that's already there. This is a way to steer clear of it. So if he was dangerous, well, there's your heads up. And if you didn't do anything about it and he really was dangerous, well, there's a log of that too. Hey, right here. So that strengthens her case. I put in a yellow complaint 3 weeks ago. I said why, and they didn't do anything. Now look at this. Now I'm going to sue you for $1 million. You know, you think that doesn't happen all the time? I mean, I don't know how much it happens, but that's a normal lawsuit. Hey, they were supposed to protect me and they didn't. But had they answered, oh yeah, we got rid of that guy. Well, there you go. Done. So if they fired him wrong, if there was something illegitimate there, well, those are legal issues anyway. That happens normally. You have these HR lawsuits. That's normal. This is just a way to preempt them right at the beginning. Well, is she just a complainer? Well, that's her problem. She's in the wrong position. She doesn't want people looking at her ever, and it's all in her own head. Well, put her in a different job. Oh yeah, this one, I like working on the factory floor. That's more fun. Whatever. You see what I mean? That's the dynamic. You go from uncomfortable there to I'm more comfortable in a different environment. Okay, well, that was it. Q slope went from yellow to blue. How? Changed her environment. Okay, we'll keep track of that. So for someone with her profile, from now on, well, we'll never put someone with her profile where people are looking at her because she doesn't like that. Put her someplace else. That's for future. You get automatic training of what kind of people like and don't like whatever you choose. So the computer knows what quality is. It's not just waiting for the squeaky wheel. They see the patterns ahead of time. So Rooks, do you see the value yet, or is it still not quite there? I don't know how I'm understood.
There's so many questions, so many.
Yeah, no, of course. But I'm saying, do you see that value with the Q slopes, meaning quality can be recorded in color? Red is bad, purple is good. What changes things from red to purple? Well, different things. Could be a chair, could be firing this guy that's looking at people weird because he's dangerous. Could be they're a complainer. If they're a complainer, well, sounds like you got someone that needs different, change their position.
Like you're making a lot of generalization,
well, yeah,
assumptions, and yada yada, and
yeah, but I'm saying it's all recorded.
Perfectly muddy, I guess.
No, but it's all recorded. the person records the color, so that's not on you. That's why it's muddy. It's because whatever people put down. That's not your responsibility to know how she feels. It's your responsibility to find out if it's your legal responsibility to take care of her or not. If it's a psychiatric problem, well, that's her own. If it's a legal problem, well, you better fix that because you're going to have a lawsuit if you don't. You see what I mean? You got the same problem. If it's a real problem, well, you're going to have a lawsuit. Unless that first time she complained, you logged it, and you said it, and you took care of the problem. Well, there's no law. She can't go back and say, you know what, all those years I worked. Well, no, there's a log right here. When you complained, you didn't complain before. All of a sudden you complained, we took care of it. You've got no lawsuit. There's nothing.
Well, then you got that whole interpretation thing, Oh, is it greenish yellow, or is it yellowish green, or is it more orangish red?
Well, for that one,
So there's that whole thing.
Yeah, well, that's on this interface. There's a simple interface that's just the colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. So there's no confusion. Yes, no, it's not green. It's yellow, meaning I don't feel comfortable. And you can set the variables. Orange is, yeah, I'm really uncomfortable, to red, I'm so angry, I'm going to quit tomorrow if something doesn't change right now. If you get a red one, if they're kidding around, well, what if they want something? Why are you going to, they're crying wolf, right? So the people who are jokers or complainers, they're identified just as quick as the people who are, because they'll take care of the problem. That's your job, so you don't get a lawsuit. You see what I mean? If they're complainers, it identifies them as complainers, or you avoid a lawsuit, one or the other. It's a win-win. And the calculation of slopes is it. And you get into this where what they say and what they do, they say this, but they do this. That's quite a slope of difference between what they say and what they do. You want someone who says what they do, whatever it is. This is a predictable person. They do and say exactly.
It seems like arbitrary interpretations to me. It's not the.
Yeah, well, that's all
around there.
That's all on the human side. So then the computer will just look at the colors and the slope patterns. That's all. But the humans are the ones that give the input. That's the whole secret of this. It's the humans do all the fuzzy logic. All the computer does is look at the color. What caused this swing from purple to yellow? Okay, and it'll recognize those patterns as they exist.
Well, no, it goes back to the same thing again. I mean, you're back in the same spot you were, and it's still unresolved. I mean, people are going to say whatever they're going to say, and it's probably not necessarily going to be accurate all the time.
Yeah, of course not. But like I said, all existing problems are already there. This way, were you kidding? Are you uncomfortable with people looking at you?
No, you don't know jack shit because you're faulty from the beginning, from the get-go. You don't even know if you have accurate data to start with before you give it to the computer.
Yes, you do, because she said she was uncomfortable, and come to find out she doesn't like people looking at her. Okay, well, you figure that out. Now she works where she's comfortable. Okay, she pushed a yellow button. Now she pushed a blue button. There's your answer. That's your empirical data. So she said she doesn't like her job. Well, we fixed that.
Well, the guy said he didn't like his chair too, right? So where did that get him?
Well, this guy hurt his back. We got him a new chair. Yay! So you get a swing from red to purple, and then back to green as he likes his new chair. Now he's just comfortable. So you want the guy right here physically. So you see that. You see, okay, for $400 chair, we went from a red employee to purple, back to green. So that's a good positive swing that you fixed something. Yay, I'm happy. So red to purple to green. That pattern means you'll see a vertical. The slope would be just vertical because $500 it cost, and we went from red to purple. Okay.
So what if somebody 5 people complained that they were giving dirty looks?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If that's true, well, that's an HR problem. What's wrong with that guy? If everybody says that, I mean, if they're just ganging up on him.
People gang up on me all the time because they're threatened by my excellence. Okay. So you'd be like, oh, well, a bunch of people said Jen was terrible. I guess they're right. Better fire her. It's like.
Exactly. Okay, so here's where it works online is, well, now those people, do they say that about everyone or just you? Well, if it's just you, then that's just their opinion.
Right.
You see what I mean? I mean, to you, you don't care. I mean, it doesn't impact
you.
Do.
No, that doesn't work.
It does matter.
What's that? I'm sorry. I got to get going, but
No problem.
the value is in the ability to quantify any quality you want, and you have human feedback to quality. And it's not perfect, but you get a scatter plot. So if you have 100 million people voting on something, and 80% of them are somewhere in here, that means they're not green. That means they're happy with it. Okay, what better data point do you have than that? You're going to ask a news organization to take a poll. They're going to poll 800 people from who knows where, and that's accurate. No.
Well, just your previous example kind of it fails. Let's say there's 3 people. They get together. They go, I don't like that guy. I don't like him either. Let's make up shit about him.
Yeah.
So they do.
Yeah. Well, that's
okay. Well, then what happens? That gets interpreted that the guy's he gets fired or something, right?
Yeah, that's normal.
Or what about on the opposite end of the scale?
Where he really is a bad guy?
Okay, let's say they gang up on this guy and say he's a shithead.
Yeah.
He's not. Well, okay, so you're going to get the same result as somebody who really is a shithead that people are reporting. So one's a shithead and one's not, but they both get fired because it was self-reporting.
Yeah, well, that's normal though. But I mean, if that's where you go.
What's normal about it?
Well, like you said.
What do you mean it's normal?
That people gang up and do that. That's normal. If somebody's a jerk and everybody doesn't like them, everyone will go to the manager and tell them, right? That's normal. I mean, that's
they don't run to the computer with their coded whatevers and punch that in for a result.
This is a whole lot easier. It's quicker. It's faster. It's instantaneous. They don't have to walk anywhere. They just click the yellow button. They tell the reason why. So they gang up really quick. 5 people click at the same time. So you get 5 votes. This guy is creepy. You don't like him. Okay. Well, then you go investigate it. I'm glad you told us. Yeah, he's a jerk. Or wait a minute. This guy, there's nothing wrong with him. You guys are just, whatever. Those are whatever.
How the fuck are they going to tell?
What's that?
How the fuck are they going to tell?
Well, how do they do it now? I don't know how they do it now.
Right now, we have to assume it's not done with a tremendous amount of discrimination either, but that's not really any type of argument in favor of any other.
Well, here's the end game is you go into court and you say, look, these 5 people say he was a creep and this is why he got fired. And then those people are in court on the stand saying, I swear to tell the truth that we were just kidding around. I'm sorry. Or they lie there and they're perjure themselves.
Oh, they'll just double down. Yeah. So now my name gets dragged through the mud because some people didn't like the fact that I was awesome and they got jealous.
Yes, that's normal.
Oh, it's awesome. Under your system, that would be allowable.
Well, I'm just saying the existing problems are there, but now there's a record. So you're going to go.
There's a record of me having to debate in open court whether I'm creepy or not. Oh, what a wonderful world.
No, but now you don't have to do that anymore because you'll have.
Hey, my name's Jen. I've been to court before for being brought up on charges of having a creep factor. Yeah, but I swear I didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just like Rook said, that you're going to get the same result in the accurate. It's going to give basically the false positives are going to be devastating your system because once there's a precedent set, it changes the culture.
Right. I get you, but it's a double-edged sword culture here. If you're
what is that supposed to mean? I don't understand that. I know you said you had to go, so I don't want to keep you forever.
Yeah. Just like the lady that didn't like the way he looked. Well, if it was because she had a personal preference and she didn't like people looking at her, well, don't put her at the front desk or whatever that is. You see what I mean? If it's a personal problem, we'll deal with that. It shows who's the problem. It's either the person or the environment, one or the other. So find out which one. Is it in the environment? We'll fix the environment.
And how the hell are people going to know?
How? Because they're going
to know. People still can't tell, what's up with me. There's still some confusion on that, and it's been years.
Well, that's all about to change now, Jen, because you line right up on the perfect slope here. So that's how I knew you. It took me 10 seconds to see you. Anyway, appreciate the time.
Awesome.
I got a bunch of programmers working on it. I just got told today I should sell it to Google. So. Rook, whatever your complaints are, go talk to the guys at Google and tell them don't buy it. I'm not going to sell it to them anyway. It's open source. It's free. Everything's free.
Just free. Complain, let alone write a complaint.
Just remember, if any money, this is free for public use, even if you don't want to use it, it's still free. But if any money's made off it, 10% go to the black swans. That's the most important part. This is open source. It's just Linux. Linux for humans. It's free. Use it. Just open. So go to the website, download it. There it is right there. Use it for whatever you want.
So it's open source with a commission fee?
No, only if you make money. I mean, for personal use, yeah, use it all you want. But if you're going to make money with it by analyzing people's thoughts, well, make sure you give 10% to us because we're gonna distribute that in public, all the money. So that's the business model for us, is just give 10% because it's awesome software. And if you're making $1 billion off it, well, we're going to spend 10% of that, and we're going to track the color of that money, make sure it's always purple.
You haven't made any money so far. All
Nope.
you've done is save expenses on litigation, hypothetical litigation.
Right. Well, maybe 10% of that. That'd be cool too, right? Just whatever you think is fair.
How can you possibly estimate 10% of potential litigation that never materialized?
Just guess. People guess that stuff.
How
all
the hell
time.
would you guess that? How
I
the hell
don't
would you
know.
get accurate statistics on that? Well, you don't know. Damn, dude, it's a
Well, you
cornerstone of your platform.
Well, you could take all the lawsuits they had before they put in the system, right? Average that out over a year, then go take a year with the system and see if it changes. If it changes, well, give us 10% of that. You know what I mean? You could
That
do
wouldn't even be accurate. Not even close to being accurate.
Right. No. Well, if it's more, then don't use our system anymore. You know what I mean? So it's finding out how they're going to pay. Well, that's up to them. We can't enforce anything anyway. It's just open source. It's all free.
You can sue them, I guess.
Well, why? That would cost us money. We don't have any money. Remember?
But you'll get money from all the lawsuits that you win.
Yeah. All right. I gotta go. Good talking there. I appreciate it, Jen. And see you, Rook. Thank you for kind of checking it out there.
Awesome.
Have fun.
Yeah. See you
Later.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Well, thanks for joining. And Rook, did you have any final words to round out the show?
No. I think no.
Awesome.
Let me check my color chart.
Well, thanks for thanks for joining and asking questions, and thanks to all the people in the chat. I appreciate it. At the end of the day, just as a closing remark from me here, you can't really force people to be virtuous, because as soon as they get the sense that they're being forced, they like recoil or whatever. So you can incentivize it, but you can't be like, I force you to be virtuous. Ha ha ha. It's just like it's sort of a built-in thing. We're resistant when we feel like we're being forced. So with this reporting thing, people will be resistant and they'll just like sort of brush it off and put whatever. They just mostly want to keep the peace, you know? So that's most people. And then there'll be those people that like have these little like fiefdoms where they're like gang up on people and they're like, okay, well, it's like I'll vote for this person that they gave us a dirty look around this time, so like get them out. And then you're down to the whims of those people who like spend all their time scheming and such. So John Wolfe says a lawyer will want more than 10%. Yeah. Well, we'll see where this goes, won't we? Always a pleasure, and talk to everyone Sunday, if not sooner.
Yeah,
Take care now.
I mean, so to say, a worthless opinion of.
It's so important that she can't be told, she won't be told that it's wrong. And
bringing it back to Church of Entropy and her attack dog Gandalf the White.
Why don't you learn to shut up and fuck your goddamn logic?
they control the media, and the media is capable of making the sheeple believe in anything.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, we've had these streams, and I've been doing with Church of Entropy, and she's been bringing on new people, and like we did those streams on like stream etiquette. We walked through like the technology.
I know.
I have like very strongly negative opinions of the kind of Brundle clique.
Is she trying to garner herself cult prestige by associating herself with a retard?